Customer service in your supply chain. That's the topic for this week. A vital thing to understand the dynamics of it and what it does to the costs in your business. And I'm going to show you an 8-step process that I use with our consulting clients to develop and check customer service policies. Coming right up. So your customer service in your organization, your business is vital to understand, and the dynamics of it and the impact it has on your customers and on your organization. So let me step through a very simple 8-step process that you can use yourself that I've been using with our consulting clients for probably 30 years. And you know, why am I talking about this topic? And it's very closely linked to cost to serve, as you'll see in a moment. I talk about this topic a lot because a lot of organizations still get it wrong. And in the hundreds, if not thousands of businesses that I've worked with over the last 30 years, I would say almost without doubt there is not a single one of those organizations that wasn't either over-servicing or under-servicing a proportion of their customers. And why is that an issue? Well, you're probably going to upset your customers, particularly if you're under-servicing. You're probably going to be driving excess costs into your business if you're over-servicing. So it is a really important thing to understand and get right. So here's 8 simple steps. First of all, we've got to understand what our customers want. And as I've said before, many times, you might be surprised at the level of customer service that your customers are happy with. Some, sure, will want very good, very fast service, but others might be happy with what you think is actually quite poor service because they're not in a rush to get things. So you need to understand that in a lot of detail. What I would suggest is that some of your major customers, you have a talk to them about the elements of service that they're happy with, that they're not happy with. And then for most organizations, you're going to have hundreds or thousands of customers, maybe some sort of survey. Give them a list of options. You know, surveys take a little bit of skill in designing, so you don't want to be kind of forcing the answer on them. You really want customers, you know, giving you their feedback, their objective feedback. So give a range of options. Maybe things like if you wanted really quick service, like within a couple of hours, would you pay extra for that? These sorts of things. And you'll get a really good insight into what they value and what they really want. So step 2 is to do that inside your organization. And you need to be checking things like your organizational goals. Are you price-led? Are you service-led? You know, where is the organization heading? Where does customer service fit into that? What do key individuals around the organization believe service offers should be? And again, depending on the size and scope of the organization, you might do that through surveys. And then step 3 is very simple. You bring those together, the customer expectation and the organizational expectation, and see where they match. They won't always match. And you need to then start segmenting different types of service offers. I mean, there's very few organizations today that would have a single service offer for all of their customers. They segment their customers and products and might have 2 or 3 different service offers. So step 4 is really to establish those cost and service impacts of those different segmented service offers. What can we afford to offer, basically? So you might have a rapid service here for particular types of products or customers, and there's a little bit of an extra charge. There might be a standard free service, for example. There could be a discounted service where they're happy to wait for a week or 2 weeks for the product, you know, whatever that might be. So you see how the service offer and the cost to serve are really coming in very closely together, and we need to segment to make sure that we're getting the right service and cost appropriate to your customers and your products. Step 5 then is to develop that service policy, and it's going to have elements, it's got to be really clear to everybody who's looking at it, but it's going to have elements about order lead times. If you order by here, this is when you're going to get your product. It'll have things like minimum order quantities. So for example, if you order over $200 worth of product, you'll get free delivery, but under that it'll cost this. We've all seen that when we order things online. Those are all the sort of things that need to be very clearly articulated in your customer service policy. Number 6, very important, we now communicate it to our customers. So a nice, simple to understand policy. This is how you're going to order. This is when you're going to get free delivery. This is when you might have to pay, you know, all your minimum order quantities, all those kinds of things very clearly communicated to all customers. And of course, different customers depending on their size and their annual buy quantities and things like that, might have slightly different service policies. Then, step 7, we communicate it to the business. A very important element, particularly for sales staff, for customer service staff, so that they understand very clearly what the organisation is offering customers. And I have seen this go dramatically wrong. And let me illustrate in step 8, at the final step, how it can go wrong, because step 8 is managing that policy. We can't just communicate the policy and then expect it to work. Customers will find ways of making it work in their favour. We're all human, and I have seen in so many organisations where customers really sort of try their luck at times. In one organisation, for example, customers very quickly learnt that if they complained about a late delivery or an item missing from the delivery, the customer service staff would waive the delivery charge. And so what do you think happened? You're training your customers to behave in a certain way. So it's really important that your customer service policy is maintained with a degree of discipline and enforcement, if I could use that. Here are the rules, and we obey the rules. And we don't let people sort of get away with breaking the rules, because then it just becomes very unruly. So it's really important that element to actually manage the customer service policy. So it helps if it's very clearly articulated to all your customers, all the people in the business, and that your customer service staff are given the authority to actually manage that policy as it is laid down. So there we go, 8 very simple steps. We'll put those up on the screen. 8 very simple steps to help you realign or develop your customer service policy. Why is it important? Because if it's wrong, if you've got gaps in this policy, if it's misunderstood, you are going to end up with unhappy customers who could potentially go elsewhere, and you're going to have excess cost in your supply chain without a doubt. So there we go. It's too early in the morning, isn't it? 8 simple steps to develop your customer service policy. Love to hear your comments down below, as always. Have you had issues developing customer service policies? Maybe you've got some interesting stories around customer service policies. And if you're new to the channel, of course, do hit subscribe. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.